Welcome back to another CARfari video. I'm Matt, and today I'm in one of the hottest N cars to come out of the Hyundai brand. If you're a subscriber, you may have already seen my i30 N and Kona N videos on the channel, but I thought it was about time to get this particular vehicle on because it is the originator of this N brand. Albeit it is slightly different because it's the product enhancement version, which features some facelifted items as well as a brand new 8-speed DCT transmission. So without further ado, let's get into today's content featuring the i30 Fastback N.
Start it up.
In the first generation of i30N, it was available in two performance flavours. There was the 275 PS unit, as well as a lesser powered 250 PS, which was later dropped. What we're driving today is the reworked 2-litre turbocharged GDI unit, developing 280 PS, which sends the car from 0 to 62 in 5.4 seconds, with a healthy 392 Nm of torque, which all results in this car being able to get to 155 miles an hour top speed, which is pretty incredible.
This is lit.
Now, if you consider yourself a serious petrol head, you'll be very familiar with the N brand. They're turning out cars that are designed, developed and driven by car enthusiasts, and in the words of Hyundai, honed at the Nürburgring. Now, for many years, the hot hatch hero has been the Volkswagen Golf GTI, and there's many reasons for that. One being the fact that they brought this hot hatch scene to the masses with cars like the Golf R and the Golf GTI Clubsport. And if you haven't seen that particular video, check that out from the link above, as I did a full review on that car some weeks ago. So let's get back to this particular car. I think it drives brilliantly and it looks sensational. And when there are no performance differences between the hatch and the Fastback, this would be the car that I would choose.
This is lit.
Thank you to everyone that subscribed to my channel in the last few months that I've been running. I really appreciate your support and your kind feedback. For me to continue delivering more content and variety, if you're unsubscribed and watching this and you're enjoying my style, please think about checking out my other videos and subscribing. I really want to get to 1,000 subscribers as soon as possible, as it will help me to approach more manufacturers for their support. Anyway, back to the video, and thanks again for watching.
The i30N is a very focused performance hatch, and whilst it does ride a little bit harder than the Golf, it's very compliant even over some of the roughest roads in the UK. And that's mainly thanks to all the different settings that the car has. But focusing in on the DCT transmission in this car, the 8-speed gearbox does have this mode where you can set it up to give you maximum power, and that's all delivered through the NGS system or N-Grin system. Now, on this particular car, it will recognise when you're on a track, so it will give you the full attack mode when desired, but you can also dial back some of those settings to make sure that you're getting the very best out of the engine and gearbox. Now, DCTs or semi-automatics are not everyone's cup of tea, but this is really well suited to the car, and it's a shame almost that it's taken this long for it to come out onto the i30N. But turning into corners, putting the power down, this car is really confidence inspiring and definitely well suited to the British roads. It turns in well and it doesn't load up the front too much, and thanks to a trick torque vectoring diff, this car really can control those wheels and put the power exactly where you want them, albeit all driven through the front wheels. The pedals feel really good on this car. The DCT transmission shift pedals here are a good size and feel very well made. In fact, darting through these back lanes, you can get a good handle on the right gear you need, and There's a lot of confidence from when you're braking as well, because the travel and pedal feel, whilst heavy, does give you good braking performance, as well as a confidence that this car is going to turn in with agility. And what I particularly like is the fact that they're just stock brakes. It's even more impressive. They're not some super duper Brembos, they're just the standard that you get from Hyundai.
Inside, the i30N sees a revised AVN system using Hyundai's latest 10.25-inch display unit, as well as some subtle enhancements to elements like the air vents. The steering wheel, whilst clad with buttons, is easy to use and the dials are easy to read. The i30 doesn't see the same digital driver's display as the newer tech i20N, which is a shame. However, that is to be expected, as this car really is just a product enhancement or facelift of the car that was launched 4 years ago. The Speedo and Tacho, whilst analogue, have some nice hue from the LED backlighting, and the engine temperature and shift lights are a cool reminder of the BMW M car DNA, which is probably of no surprise given Albert Biermann is on the Hyundai N team. The seats are impressive, very comfortable and with excellent support from the large-sided bolsters. However, there are now some N Light seats available, which offer a weight saving of 2.2 kilos across the two seats. Although weight savings aside, I'd opt for them based on their looks alone. Some other reminders that this car means business starts in the boot. There is a rear strut brace, and then you go back to the exterior and the newly designed alloy wheels are forged, resulting in nearly 15 kilos of saved weight compared to the outgoing model's wheels. Move to the rear of the car and the exhausts are insane.
Now for this next part, I've got the window down, so hopefully you can hear me, but have a listen to this. It's absolutely insane. It's like a gun going off at the back of the car, and it's so addictive. Now I've got the car set up in some custom modes today, and that's the beauty of this car really. It's got all these dynamic N modes that you can mess around with. Now I've got the exhaust set to Sport Plus to give it that sort of aggressive tone. But I've got the engine set, again Sport Plus, but with suspension tamed down, just to iron out some of the bumps that I'm on today. The roads are pretty poor actually, but again, this just takes me back to when I was 17, having a loud exhaust on a car, albeit it was never going that fast, but this particular car is very quick, is very agile, and with that going on, it just makes it feel so involved and so dynamic. It's just a masterpiece, I absolutely love it. So what's the i30N like to drive? Well, there's one word for it: amazing. The car drives brilliantly, it looks awesome, and with all the customizable settings on this car, it's a real contender for the likes of the Golf GTI Clubsport. And when the settings are that easy to use, it makes it such an agile and dynamic car on the road. And whilst the settings can be a little bit more hardcore, because after all, it was set up for the Nürburgring, it does feel like it's a very compliant car on the road. But my favourite parts have to be the exhaust, these lightweight wheels, and just how great this Fastback N looks. So if you're considering a car like this, why not start with the Fastback N? It's as good as the Golf GTI, if not better, priced around the same, and with the options you'd have to buy on a comparable car, you're all in on the road for just under £37,000. What a car! And despite the weather trying to be a little bit temperamental today, I'm going to get some more use out of this car whilst I can, because I've got the car for a few more days thanks to Hyundai Press. But given that the weather is starting to rain now, I'm going to say to you, don't forget to subscribe. Please check out more content like this on my channel, and I'll see you in the next video.
Like it if you enjoyed the video, share it if you loved it, and subscribe if you'd like to see more.